to another episode. Now today I am turning the tables and I am doing a video all about the commonly held stereotypical beliefs around us Brits and about the UK as a whole, because I done a poll on my Instagram over the weekend and I was asking about Italian people especially, their stereotypical beliefs about us British people. And this was all ahead of the Euros final on Sunday, but it was really interesting because I already had some ideas of my own that I wanted to talk about from what I've picked up in the near 3 years I've lived here. But it was really interesting to hear what other people had to say as well. And today's video is going to be addressing those and talking about the truth or the myth behind each one. So let's get into it, shall we? So the first stereotypical belief about us Brits is that as a whole, as a country, it is a fantastic place to live. I'm really sorry to have to break it to you, but this is a huge myth. Don't get me wrong, the UK is beautiful. I am from London, this is my hometown. I'm a Londoner through and through, but I'm all too aware that it is not a perfect city, nor is the UK a perfect country. We have high levels of crime, we have high levels of unemployment, we have people on the poverty line, we have our own problems and our own fair share of troubles, to mean that if you are coming here specifically for a better life, yes, maybe you will receive some opportunities and experiences that you cannot get in Italy, for example, but you will not necessarily have this dreamboat experience, which I think a lot of Italians mistakenly think they will have when they want to move to London. And I say this because when I first moved to Italy and I would strike up conversations with people in my very broken Italian, they would say to me like, where are you from? And I'd be like, London. Oh, London, you're crazy. Why have you come here? We leave Italy to go to London. You've done the reverse. And yes, it's true. Italians have this rose-tinted love relationship with the UK, and it's beautiful. It really, really is. But I want to try and shine the light, because beyond all the touristical, fantastic monuments and experiences that you can have in the UK is a life that has shared similar troubles and experiences to Italy. Yes, there may be differences of our economy. Yes, there may be differences of bureaucracy, but we still have our problems. And so as long as you have that awareness, then I think you'll be just fine. But please don't believe that the UK is like a fairy tale, because it isn't. It has problems, and I just think it's really important to clarify that from the very beginning. So, stereotypical belief number 2 is that the British diet is terrible. Okay, I'm sorry, I love the UK, but this is a truth. And I can say this because honestly, I have never eaten as good since I moved to Italy. The UK diet is a troubled one, I have to be honest. We don't really have like a fixed cuisine. So like the Italians, they're very well known for their pizza and their pasta. But if you ask anybody what us Brits are known for, it's like fish and chips every time. Fish and chips and tea, fish and chips and tea. And it's like, I was thinking the other day, what's a typical British dish? We'd have roast dinners on a Sunday, that's very traditional. We have pie and mash, I'm a Londoner, so yes, pie and mash wins every time. And then of course we do have fish and chips. But our diet in the UK is very varied. So we will eat cuisines from many different countries. It's a very multicultural country. So there are lots of Chinese restaurants, Indian, Thai, like, you know, there is a real Jamaican, there's a real blend, Portuguese, Spanish, there's a real blend of food cuisine types in the UK, more so than in Italy. I find in Italy it's Italian, very, 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 in the south especially, minimal choice when it comes to Chinese and Indian. It's Italian is the dominant cuisine here. And so when you go to the UK, it kind of feels like we don't really have necessarily a predominant dish that we eat, because our diet is so varied. So there's this that makes it different. But what makes our food terrible, I don't know. I feel like we don't necessarily, it's a personal choice, but I feel like as a whole, as a society, we don't necessarily eat very well. We tend to eat a lot of fast food. We certainly don't pay as much attention to meal times as they do here, especially in the south of Italy where I live. And yeah, there's a lot of alcohol consumed generally as a country. Of course, there are exceptions. I feel like I have to say this because every video there is somebody that goes, oh, but I don't do this. This isn't what happens in the UK. Of course, there are exceptions to everything, okay? So disclaimer, there are exceptions, but generally speaking, we consume a lot of alcohol, we eat the wrong types of food, and for this, the Italians especially tend to think that our diet's a little strange. And of course we have pineapple on pizza. I mean, come on, the Italians hate us for this. So, you know, it is different, of course. And I do feel that, you know, living here in Italy, I've spoken about this in many of my other videos. I'm going to link something above, talking about what to eat and drink here in Italy. But my appreciation for food has, oh my goodness, it's increased tremendously since living here, because cooking is so central to a part of life here, and I feel like it's more so than it is in the UK, definitely. So yes, I'm sorry to say this, but this is a truth. So stereotypical belief number 3 is that us Brits don't know how to clean. Oh my goodness, I'm on the fence with this one. I think there's a truth and a myth to this, so we're going to do like a 50-50 split, because there is a truth to it in the sense that the Italians I've spoken about in one of my other videos above, where I talk about the stereotypical beliefs of Italians. They are crazy about cleaning, and I have learnt some of the niftiest, incredible little tips and tricks to do with cleaning since I've lived here that I just didn't come across in the UK. But also, us Brits can be quite meticulous when it comes to cleaning as well. So I kind of feel this, on the one hand, there's a truth to it. We perhaps don't have as high a standard of cleaning as the Italians do, or we don't have as heavy a focus on cleaning like the Italians do. But on the other hand, you know, it's a bit of a myth, because us Brits can clean, and, you know, we do look after ourselves and, generally speaking, look after our homes. But yes, I think there is a lot to learn from the Italians. I'm going to put it out there like this. There's a lot to learn from the Italians to do with cleaning. I've certainly, well, I make my bed differently now. I clean my house differently now. I have learned so much in nearly 3 years of living here to do with cleaning that I just had no clue about before. So yes, this is a 50-50 split, I think. Half truth, half myth. So stereotypical belief number 4 is that us Brits drink tea every day. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the vast majority of the population in the UK do drink tea every day. I was one of those people that used to drink tea every day, but it's not consumed by everybody. People drink coffee as much as they drink tea, and some people just don't drink either. So, you know, it's a bit of a myth to think that, so this is a myth, it's a bit of a myth to think that we just sit around lazing about having tea every day and don't do anything else. Like, of course, people will say, oh, come over for a tea and a cuppa and a chat. Tea is like a big part of our lives, but it isn't necessarily what we consume every single day. So I think that's a little bit of a myth. So the 5th and final stereotype that I want to talk about in this video is that the British people know everything about the royal family. This is a myth. Oh, I'm sorry, this is such a myth, because of course, we have a lot of love and respect, the majority of us, for our Queen. There are people who don't really believe in the royal family that live in the UK, believe it or not, it's true. But it doesn't mean that we are so heavily involved in what they're doing and details about the family as a whole. I feel like people from other countries are more fascinated about the royal family than us Brits are. And people will always say to me here in Italy, oh, you've got a Queen, and, you know, what do you think about Meghan and Harry and all of this? And of course, you know, that's been like a hot topic of conversation here in Italy, especially since that Oprah interview. But I do have to say that I pay loose attention to what the royal family are doing, but I'm not as obsessed about it as I feel like Americans are obsessed about it, and Italians, definitely. And I wonder if it's because they don't have royal families themselves, so for them it's a little bit of a curiosity, a little bit of an obsession. But yeah, it's a myth. Not all British people are obsessed with the royal family and know everything about it. They know, some people just know that we have a queen and stop. So, you know, this is a myth. And so if you speak to a Brit about the royal family and they're not super excited, Now you know why. So these are just some stereotypical beliefs about British people that I wanted to talk about. I think there probably will be a follow-up based on the back of this, but if there's any that you think I've missed, I would love to know. Comment below, tell me. Have a look at some of my videos, tell me what you're thinking. I think you will enjoy some of my videos to do with the stereotypical beliefs about Italians and also like what life is really like here in Italy as an expat. And I will see you soon.